Aloha and Tashi Dewey from Quiet Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center, Kagyu Tuktu Choling. My name is Lama Tashi. We do this class every Thursday night, 6 to 8 o'clock. The theme is Tibetan Buddhist shamanistic Lamaism, and these shamanistic practices are all presented by what we call symbols. Everything you see behind me is symbolic of the true nature of our mind. Compassion, power, and insight, and many other qualities. But those three, compassion, power, and insight, are the process for which we transform the ordinary body, speech, and mind of a human being who needs to be trained to the aspect of the enlightened nature of mind, which is clear of judgment. And when you're clear of the emotional involvement with the outer and inner aspects of your mind, then you are free. And that freedom is called Buddhahood. I define Buddhahood as a state of maturity in the human condition. And only humans can accomplish this. Men and women being equal, the whole race could accomplish this. But today, we have many distractions. So in order to start this, what we call the training of the body, speech, and mind, you must understand that the basis, which is the judgmental mind, the practice, which is overcoming the judgmental mind, and the accomplishment are all one thing. And the way we do this with these symbolic symbols is on two levels. The relative level is to bring good health to the body. And through that, we have what is called the three lights meditation and the 5 elemental healing practice. Then for a more advanced application of these symbols, then we use what are called the 5 dhyana Buddhas, or deity yoga. And this has many methods. It's called the path of skillful meaning. To start the practice, we take refuge. We take refuge in the altruistic motivation that we are doing this for the benefit of all sentient beings, all the humans, all the animals, and all the spirits in the entire universe, as if they were our family or mother. When we accomplish this, there's nothing further to do. Simply relax in the true nature of your mind and enjoy existence, whether it be in a body or not. In taking refuge, the ultimate mystic motivation, which is unique to meditation, is sounded first. We'll say it in English and then I'll chant it in Tibetan. The Tibetan language is based on the Indian Sanskrit, adapted to 8 dialects in Tibet. And when we do this, if we do this in Tibetan, that is how we cross-culturally transfer the Dharma to all the tribes on the planet. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now altogether take refuge and offer prostration. I'll chant that in Tibetan. Tadang Joa Namde Tadang Yambe Senchen Tamche Udine Shunte Visi Chenchu Inko Lachi Pivardi. And we'll chant the refuge prayer and the Bodhisattva prayer in Tibetan. Alvin Lama Dampa Nama Tapsu Shio Niram Chokor Divaso Nama Tapsu Shio Sanjay Chom Dende Nama Tapsu Shio Dampe Chur Nama Tapsu Shio Kalpe Dende Nama Tapsu Chio Pao Kango Choto Sume Choe Tempa Nala Chocho Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam Choki Pardon Choki 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 Chinto Jide Sonam Sola Encher Sanjay Chupam. In English, the 6 refuges, which are the 3 jewels and the 3 roots of Tantra. We go for refuge to all glorious Holy Lama. We go for refuge to all the idams, or the deities gathered in our mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those that conquer the mind and are young. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis who are the protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcending learning. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this supreme assembly we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing the 6 perfections of the Bodhisattva path, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In this mind-to-mind transmission, or called the oral transmission of Tibetan Buddhist methods, the simplicity of the transmission is using the Sanskrit language with the seed syllables Om, Ah, and Hum, and also a 3-color code, white, red, and blue. This starts the whole process. And what it is the mind of the Guru, the body of the Guru, as an example, the teacher, who is the supreme teacher on the planet today, of how to use the body, speech, and mind appropriately, or what we say beneficially. The second is for the speech transmission, which comes from stabilizing the body and altering the patterning of the body so that it becomes more of a light form than a dense object. Then those 2 together produce the wisdom mind transmission of the Lama to connect with your own inner Lama, which is simply a clear state of awareness. So these 3, together with the color code, white, red, and blue, are the symbolic transmission or oral transmission, the way all of the methods of Tibetan Buddhism, all the sutras, and all the tantras are passed on to the human student. Another symbolic symbol that is used is called the eight-spoked wheel. This symbolizes the nature of how you exist. First of all, you have the 5 physical sensations: seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, and feeling. Then you have the 5 emotional preoccupations with that: attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, and ignorance. And these 3 are transferred to the body, speech, and mind of the human receiving the transmission. So that's called the eight-spoked wheel. And this symbol covers all of the transmission of the Buddha Dharma. Now we are going to start with meditation practice of using, first of all, the 3 colors together with the breath. And so the white, red, and blue symbolically are how the peaceful aspect of our being is transferred to our body through the elements which exist all together. And the specific one that we use the most, of course, which keeps us alive, is the air element. The air element is based on the earth, water, and fire elements existing in space. So those are the five: earth, water, fire, air, space. Tonight we're going to do a practice of Chenrezig using human symbols. But first we'll start with this to bring everything together so that you can skillfully use the deity yoga we present later. It is advisable to sit in a chair or on a cushion with your back straight, your head slightly tilted, your hands in a comfortable position, either in the lap or on the knees, head slightly tilted forward, and eyes softly gazing to the space directly in front, about 2 feet in front. Then you simply bring your awareness, your focus together on the breath, using the imagination to visualize that the air you are inhaling is white light, with all the elements filling your lungs. The second breath is called the absorption breath or middle breath, and it's the body's transmission of all of the elemental energy through the body to every cell. That's visualized as a red light flashing through the body. Then these two energies together are exhaled out the nose as blue light available to everyone in space. It's called the healing breath. Inhale white light, fill the lungs. Absorption breath, red light through the body. Blend these two together as blue light out the nose to space. This three lights prana yoga meditation is to bring one into a space of peace and tranquility, and it can be taught to anyone, even children. When you feel yourself relaxing or settling, detaching from the worldly activities of the day, then take your focus off the breathing practice, the prana yoga practice of the three lights, and center in your heart chakra, bringing all three color codes together into a tiny particle of light right in the center of your chest, creating what is called a bindu or chakra, an energy center. This connects you to the infinite light of boundless space, and the simplicity of it is space itself. Everything in the universe is made of this energy. And for us, it's a life force for support, not only for our existence, but for our moving into a state of maturity. Take your focus off the breath, visualizing the particle. Imagine it to expand into a tiny sphere of clear light. Entering into three-dimensional world in this way, expand this until it creates a white sphere of clear energy and label that space. Keep it smaller than the size of your thumbnail, not the size of a small grape or pea. Then keeping your focus and imagination together, see this white sphere labeled space to move out in front of your body and up before your eyes, 2 feet in front, so that the actual and the imagined become the same thing. Then imagine it to grow in size much larger than your body so that you can visualize yourself sitting inside this sphere of white light, taking in the energy of all the elements of today's space. The healing, protecting you physically, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. Let this energy pervade your physical form, your body, and your stream of being. When we share this with our environment, our world, and the beings in it, by imagining it to grow in size to completely enclose, for us, this island of Hawaii, for viewers, whatever town, city, or area where you live, where you are practicing. Keeping focus and imagination together, expanded in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. Again, the actual and the imagined come together. Expanded in size, its white sphere of white light to completely enclose the solar system, all the planets and sun inside. Expanded to completely enclose our spiral dish-shaped galaxy. And go beyond your conceptual mind and expand it to the reality of boundless space. And relax, no meditation. Simply relax in the present moment and accept the reality of a mind with no limit. This is your true nature. Then bring this reality into your conceptual mind and again invent the white sphere labeled space to completely enclose the galaxy. Shrink it in size to completely enclose the solar system. Reduce your focus to completely enclose Mother Earth. Then down to a large area where you live or practice. For us, it's this island of Kauai. Then very much smaller to just enclosing your body. See yourself inside this sphere of healing energy, just as you are. Sitting, standing, laying down, or moving. Receive the full life force of the universe, your support system, into your physical state of being. To end your practice, bring it to its original small size in front of your eyes, bring it to chest level, and into your heart chakra. In that energy zone, reduce it in size to a small, clear light, and then to this tiny particle that connects to the boundless light of the infinite fabric of space. Relax, no meditation. Simply be present in the moment. For some, this is a timeless state with no beginning, middle, or end. Now bring your awareness into the space in front of your eyes and expand it into the room or area where you're practicing. And if you're Mahayana, Vajrayana practitioner, then you dedicate the merit to the benefit of all living beings. Your mother, your support, your purpose for practice. I just finished a 6-day water fast, and I'm still thirsty. Today I ended the fast. No problem. The next practice of this session tonight will be Chenrezig. This symbol of compassion, power, and insight in human form is the basis for all Mahayana and Tantric practice in Tibetan Buddhism. The fulfillment stage of the practice is called Mahamudra, and that's the name of the Kagyu lineage that I follow. When we say Mahamudra, we're talking about the other nature of our mind that doesn't have judgment, where emotional involvement with the body and the thought process is not necessary. And it's the innate nature of all sentient beings, animals, humans, spirits. But only humans can connect to it. That being the case, when a teacher called the Nirmanakaya, or the earth vehicle, who is a symbol of loving kindness, compassion, power, and insight, takes residence on a planet where there are humans to be trained, that's the only reason that happened. But together with the teacher, physical form appearing, they say from a lotus, which is a symbol of the 5 elements coming together in a beautiful symbol or expression of the light energy of this man or woman teacher that does this, we call this the Bodhisattva. And the Tibetans use the word tupu. But the simplicity of it is that the all-pervasive nature of the mind, which we just experienced using this 5-element space meditation practice and the 3 life, is that the teacher's mind is filled with symbolic energy. And in elemental form, or in what we call the spiritual form of the Mahayana or Vajrayana, using symbols of human deities, male and female, it is applied only to humans. And only humans who have the inclination or the ability and the leisure time and the support can do this. And because of that, there's a limit to its application. And because of that, we have what is called infinite compassion, altruistic compassion. For those that can't do it in this time zone. But that doesn't mean they're out of the movie. There is no beginning and middle or end to this existence process. I mean, everybody would like to think so, that they didn't have past lives and they don't have future life and they don't have karma and everything is permanent, solid, and fixed. And this conditioned existence is okay when it's not. They can think that. And that's where your heartfelt compassion comes for the error of that kind of thinking. Because we know in existence that each and every one of us is aging, subject to sickness or illness, and the process of leaving the body called death. We also know that this energy field that we're in is constantly changing. Night to day, month to month, year to year, season to season. We also know that all of us suffer physically, mentally, emotionally, and most of us spiritually. The Dharma is the way out. That doesn't mean it's going to end all the pain and suffering. That doesn't mean it's going to end your aging process or your impermanence. It doesn't mean that all your afflictions caused by your emotional energy programs are going to suddenly disappear. No. Actually, those are what we use in the Mahayana and Tantric practices to transform the situation so that the individual practicing becomes a light form, like the sun or the moon, lighting up the darkness of the space of our solar system. And in fact, the sun and the moon are used as symbols, symbolic symbols, that the Bodhisattva sits on. Yes. Together with the lotus flower. If you look, it comes out of the mud and the water and it comes into the air. The sunlight causes it to bloom. The simplicity of that is exactly how the teachers appear in planetary situations everywhere in the universe for the benefit of human beings. So tonight we're going to present the Chenrezig. Now this practice is based on all that. And all of the Mahayana and Tantric practices of Tibet Buddhism, which are called the Tanjur and the Kanjur, the Tanjur being the Mahayana, the Kanjur being the Tantra, those two are all symbolic references to transform the mind from the drama, from the monkey mind energy program, which causes so much trouble, especially on this planet, into another state of being which is clear of all that. The basis, of course, is peace and tranquility. But we don't fixate on that base. We take the energy of that, and with awareness and skillful means, we increase the energy so that it causes this process of transformation to occur naturally. Not all at once, but in its state of temporal existence in time, it works. So first of all, we're going to start with the three lights meditation, and then we're going to do the guided meditation, and then the actual practice of the Chenrezig, called the Avalokiteshvara in Sanskrit. And this practice is the first practice of Tantra transmitted by all the lamas, men and women, on the planet today, with all the lineages of Tibetan Buddhism. Again, sit with your back straight, head tilted, hands comfortable, mouth closed, eyes focused softly, mouth maybe half closed in front. Don't close your eyes. You want this light energy of the space pervading your stream of being. Breathe. Again, we're going to do the three lights breathing, but we're going to add the three sounds, Sanskrit sounds that empower your body, speech, and mind with the body, speech, and mind for the outer support, the lung. When you inhale, you again inhale white light, but you hear the sound Om. The energy process transfers through the body. With red light, you hear the sound Om. And these two together, exhale out the nose, is the healing vibratory sound Hum. In this way, vibrations, light, and space are transformed into your body, speech, and mind. Inhale white light, clear Om. The energy of the elements, red light through your body, clear Om. These two working together, we exhale out the nose of blue light, space, with Om. Breathe like them. Inhale, white light, Om. Red light energy to the body, Om. Exhale to space, Om. Blue light. These three sounds connect either all the lamas of all the lineages of Tibetan Buddhism, past, present, and future, and all the peaceful and Dakini protector symbols. With this empowerment, the transmission is visualized the Lama in front. From the Lama's forehead, right to your forehead, you will receive the sound Om and right in the center of your forehead. This empowers your body to be the deity. In this case, Chenrezig. When red light from the Lama's face, the earth flows empowers you to speak. I mean, the power of the speech launches the basis of all structured stuff. When you visualize blue light from the Lama's source, the earth work, the blue light appears in the heart center, heart chakra, with the sound blue phone inside. When you collect these three lights, you are visualizing the Lama melting into you, and the right light from your head coming down to your throat chakra, merging with the red cloud. So the right orange spirit comes down into the red arm, these two together goes down the central channel into the blue phone. These three disappears, and the creation sound of the deity, the Chenrezig appears. The red symbol 3, surrounded by a five-fold square of light, all the elements and all the five and Buddha family, symbolized in that five-fold spirit. This causes you to appear with the two-armed Chenrezig. Then the four-armed Chenrezig. Then the 1,000-armed Chenrezig. And then on the head of the 1,000 arms, all five regular Buddhas, antidotes for all emotional affliction. Tonight we're going to use the four-armed white Chenrezig, visualizing male form, young, healthy, smiling, three-eyed, bright jewel brown, sitting on the lotus sun on home bed. Right hand holding the lotus, symbolizing compassion. Left hand holding the mala, or warrior, symbolizing insight or wisdom. And these two together, the two hands brought together in front of the heart chakra, symbolizing devotion of the five elements of the five Dharana Buddhas, with Maha Mudra, the wish fulfilling jewel, in the palm, extended to the benefit of all living beings. When you conceive yourself with this symbolic symbol, which looks like this picture to my right, where the pompa over my right shoulder, all the way to the right. And there's the 1,000-armed Chenrezig. Then we project this symbolic bodhisattva symbol with a four on Chenrezig, visualizing the mother in front life-size as this deity. Then you project it to all mother beings, starting with your family, friends, relatives, lovers, even enemies, adversaries, then the whole human race, 8 billion humans on the planet. All Chenrezig. So you're building a mandala in your mind. Then you extend it to all the animals in the ocean and on the sea. So now you have to expand in the mandala like you did the 5 elements back. Outward. Beyond the planet, beyond the soul, encompassing all the beings. Then you extend it to the infinite spirit filling space, filling this infinite universe. We use the word infinite because we can't conceive the volume of this. But to overcome the conceptual mind of filling your consciousness with this symbolic symbol, Chenrezig, of compassion with all of them, insight, knowing how to do it and use it, and why, and power, based on the pure energy of your existence. When this is accomplished in your mind and projected outside, the heart chakra is filled with the vibration of that. And it's called the heart mantra. And it's 6 letters. Om for the heavenly realm. Ma for the demigods. Or the war god realm. Me for the human, for the pure on planet. K for the animals, for the pure on planet. Nay for all of the deprived spirits, for everyone. And Pum for all of the demonic spirits, for also everyone. Om, Nam, Me, Say, it's a God in India. Me, Pum. So visualize yourself as the deity, all sentient beings in your mind the deity, your family, your mother, everybody. All of this totally united, integrated into a universe. And sound the heart mantra with your speech. Down the tree. To visualize all this together with the mantra, simply be the Chenrezig, white forearm, blazing radiant light in every direction like the sun, sitting on a lotus sun and moon with support. All sentient beings in your mind, equal to you is this deity, doing whatever you're doing, and say the mantra, and just the mantra brings you to a state of peace and tranquility. But together with the visualization of the illusory body of the deity like a hologram, you start to understand that everything is the nature of that. It's totally a light source, illusory, in your dreams, awake, out of the body, whatever situation you find yourself in. It's always like that. Breathe. Breathe is the sound of infinite light. The energy programs in space. the support of our natural body and natural mind. The symbolic is Amitabha Buddha, red in color. But the energy of the tree in our hearts, when we're surrounded by a five-fold spirit, sends compassion, power, and insight through our body as healing energy, which exits like the sun energy to space in waves or rays of light, however you want to visualize them. In every sentient being that you can visualize in your mandala doing exactly the same thing you are, sounding the mantra. So the tree and the mantra are the source of the power, compassion, and insight. Each one individually works, but all three together are the ultimate mantra practice. So you do that. Breathe. In your mandala, on your own head, visualize the Buddha Amitabha in red, along with the other four Dhyana Buddhas, Aksavaya, Amudasiti, Ramasambhava, and Amitabha, all five. All the deities have these five, whether they be peaceful or protector or Dakini symbols. So you see the Buddha Amitabha on your head, corresponding to the tree in your heart center. This is your Lama. This is the nature of everything, inside, outside. All experiences, all sensual perceptions, everything that appears. So you add that to your visualization. That's the Amitabha. First, red in color with hands in the lotus gesture. Right on top of left, thumb stretching. To explain the tree, it's called discerning awareness. For the ultimate awareness that compensates entirely to replace the monkey mind, the mind of judgment, things being good, bad, high, or low, inappropriate. So this tree is in the heart center of the Buddha above your head is your Lama, representing all the Lamas. And the one in your heart is the hearts of all sentient beings in your mandala. The power of this subjugates all obstacles, all demonic forces, all states of obscuration, conflicting emotions, all of them. Then to the right of the Amitabha is Taksodaya Buddha. This Dhyana Buddha is the Buddha of total unity, everything interconnected, no state of separation, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. Everything is a universe. So you visualize that Buddha blue in color, just to the right of Amitabha on your head, and in your heart you see the blue film. Then you become the blue Chenrezig, and the color code shifts to all the mandala themes in your mandala. Blue in color. Whatever color blue you like. Sky blue, cobalt blue, navy blue, your choice. Oh, mommy, baby, baby, mommy, baby, mommy, by the way, that Buddha looks like the one right behind me. Different touch and gesture, symbolizing which Taksodaya Buddha, symbolizing total unity. Nothing is separate. Outside, inside, or in any state. To the left side is the red one probability is viral quantitative white and color, but the street side is home. And the same right home in your right finger, and all the beings, animal, human, and spirits, things surrounded by tri-story light. And then this, you are this white deity and all Chenrezig, right? This is the fifth state of clarity, understanding, knowledge, whatever you need. The hand gesture of this Buddha is like this. Thumb and index fingers touching right under left. That's why we're trying to do. Once a while, that blue one is left hand in the left, right hand inward, over resting on the right knee. Amitabha is red, both hands together in the length. These three clear all the lower realms, all the possibilities of rebirth in the three lower realms of the demonic spirit, the defied spirit, and the animal world. And the next Buddha will be the green Buddha of action, of using these three. And that activity is extended with the sound of Tram, T-R-A-M, Tram, green in color, and it applies to all the world, all the universe, that this activity of body, speech, and mind is for the benefit of all living beings, to bring them to maturity, now or in future life, wherever they exist, anywhere in the universe. So, excuse me, the seats all the power soul, the Buddha to the left side of the Buddha is soul, and all involved sentient beings, all of them golden in color, emanating five-colored light.
Well, that's true.
When
When you're doing golden,
green, green, green when all of it is green, and all seats are the green and white and five-colored light. This is the activity of these first three Buddhas, benefiting limitless beings in infinite ways, whatever is appropriate. The hand gesture is the right hand raised with the left hand left. The root dream, the two shoulders, arms, feet, all of them down. This code. In the fifth diameter Buddha is on the left side, golden color, rottenness and bottom. Then all the sentient beings in your mandala is golden in color. The seats all are strong, gold in the five-colored light in the first. This means everything equal, no high, no low, no supernatural, no unnatural, no outside, no inside, everything equal, all emotions stable, equanimity. If you think like that, and the Buddha is sitting with his right hand on the right knee, palm extended outward in infinite giving, left hand in the lap. But now you have all five dhyana Buddhas. From left to right, the green, the white, the blue, the red, and the gold. All equal, all connected. So with this application, you understand how they are applied in your natural mind. Altogether, will be the end of this practice. For now, Rana Sambhava, Chom, Om Mani Padme Chom, Mani
Chom.
Padme Chom, Mani Padme Chom, Chom, Mani Om Mani Padme Chom, Chom. Now the purpose of all these Chenrezigs filling your mind and filling state of the mind in the outer world, is to understand that everything is illusory. It's a light show. It's an energy program. That's it. But to understand the ultimate nature, you must understand that all of this is mind training to convert or transform your judgmental mind into a non-judgmental state of ultimate awareness. To do that, we call the state of ultimate voiding. Bring all the sentient beings together by thinking each of the Dhyana Buddhas on your head move into the central Amitabha Buddha. Then that Amitabha on your head and all sentient beings moves into your heart chakra. Then all sentient beings in the universe, animals, humans, and spirit, disappear into you, implode into you from every direction, either all at once or as you wish. However you want to do that. Like rain into a lake. Once you've gathered infinite sentient beings into your symbolic symbol of compassion, power, insight, together with equality and action, then you disappear your symbol into the heart center of the Amitabha in your heart center. It gathers the rainbow light into the heart, into the sound free. And that disappears into a tiny particle of light and merges with the boundless light energy of the infinite fabric of space. No center, no circumference, no boundary, no limit, no meditation. And you simply relax in that state of timeless awareness in the present moment. Where insight, power become bliss. No drama. All thoughts that arise, all sensations of the body that arise, disappear. Arise and disappear. In a word, Maha Mudra. In Sanskrit, Chagya Champu. Dzogchen. Then when you come out of this trial, move to the accomplishment phase, the adaptive phase. The creation stage becomes the voiding stage, becomes within the creation stage. Use that for your post-meditational involvement with the beings in the worldly activities in your environment. You reappear as the two-armed Chenrezig. All sentient beings are projected as this deity. You become like a prayer wheel, absorbing all negative, transforming to positive. One of the ways that we do this is with, as Buddy's office, is taking and sending with the breath. In this way, you transform any negative situation into a positive spiritual practice. The simplest one is to start with some friend or loved one or relative lover who has some serious physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual problem. Whatever the situation, take that in as black light with the inhale of your breath into your heart chakra, or the free one. Disappeared into voidness. Immediately exhale white light after that individual and see them perfectly healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Well, calm men, taking and sending into breath. Or exchanging yourself for others, however you want to think about it. We'll do that now. In this way, you're using the ultimate state of your consciousness, your timeless awareness, for healing. If you want to do it as a group, you can. Another way is if you have some affliction causing you some discomfort, then you can simply imagine all the beings on the planet that have that same affliction. You inhale it and take it all away from them. The black light inhaled into your heart center, disappear it all. In white light, you visualize back all those sentient beings totally healed. This method you can use for any level of social involvement on the planet, not just for afflictions, but terrible conditions that exist. No judgment, just acknowledge, inhale, disappear, give the antidote back. It's white light, it's perfect. Even the environment. Every detail, perfect, healthy, appropriate. This planet is so afflicted with pain and suffering, this could be an endless practice. War, famine, disease, poverty, environmental destruction, spread of toxins, drought, famine, etc. Fear, anxiety, depression, loathing, all these calamities, purify, which is right. The imagination is powerful. Together with awareness and focus, it's ultimate meditation. Now we'll do a practice called the 9 yantras. Hands resting on the knees. The visualization is with the inhale, your body fills with light. And the exhale, all the light disappears and your body is empty in a state of Mahamudra. As you inhale, raise the right hand and close the right nostril with your index finger. Exhale and bring your hand back down to your knee. Then you do your then left hand, then right hand. It's the opposite. Touch your left nostril. Exhale. Bring your hand back down. The body empty. Mana move your body. Again, bring the left hand and right hand. Raise, inhale. Fill with light. Close. Exhale. Opposite hand. Inhale. Fill with light. Close. Exhale. Opposite hand. Inhale. Exhale. Opposite hand. Inhale. Exhale. Then inhale, fill your body with light, lean forward. And exhale, roll the light out. Body back up, inhale. Lean forward, exhale. Light out. Come back up, inhale, light filled. One more time, exhale. Inhale, filled with light, relax. Simply stay present. This is one of hundreds of yantra yogas taught by Lama Namka in the very practical for tantric practitioners. Now we again return to just the breath. Doing the three lights with the Om Hum. Then the Om, the Ah, and the Hum disappears into the three color of the breath. Simply inhale white light. Red light pervades the body. Blue light to space. No sound, no vibration, just light. Then collected three lights take the focus off the breath into the heart center, create the particle. Connect with the basic space, the all ground with Mahamudra. No meditation. Use your timeless awareness in the present moment. All the elements, all the dianegrated, all of the methods come from this state. Relax. What's 2 feet in front of your eyes is the symbol. Outside, inside, equal. Three. The final symbol for tonight is the white light is this sphere I'm holding in my hand. The red light of the energy is this sphere. The blue light, altruistic motivation of healing, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to all beings, is the blue sphere. When you have all of these together, you have a clear sphere.
Yeah, it's right there.
A clear sphere. It's so clear I couldn't see it. So this is the symbol, and all of these are contained in the dish of your mind. Use them wisely. Now we dedicate the merit to the benefit of all sentient beings. And I'll read one dedication prayer from Karl Rinpoche, 8 Thoughts of the Great Bodhisattva. By practicing this way and the power of our virtuous actions, especially tonight, the loving kindness of my parents to me, and the teachings of the true Bodhicittas by my Lama, and my commitment of Samaya to all my Vaishnava sisters and brothers, and the contention between myself and all men and women, especially on this planet, and all possessions, even those of beasts and burdens, from which I take milk, builder, eggs, and sheep, and the animals whose flesh and blood I eat. To all of these, without leaving one behind, may they quickly reach the ultimate sublime and perfect state of maturity called Buddhahood. May all of these beings be my students and future lives to be trained. May I appear on any and every planet where it is appropriate for training these living beings. May I not be to come discouraged through weariness, or any other cause. May I gain the ability to effortlessly bestow whatever is desired by beings who are poor, hungry, or thirsty. May I take upon myself the great burdens of these beings who suffer the unbearable torments of the hells and other miserable realms. May all these beings attain liberation and reach the state of maturity as what they really are, Buddha. It's good to see all sentient beings circled in rainbow light as Buddha. Dewa di Drudu Dam, Chagya Chenpo Kudya Name, Jova Chinkin Mo, Devi Sawa Gopasha, Sanjay Kusa, Yukmai Chenpo, Chomi Vedu, Defai Chenpo, Dendu Miche Yukmai Chenpo, Chita Doma, Momo, Chu, by this virtue of having realized Maha Buddha, may I quickly establish all beings without a single exception in this state. By the blessing of the 3 bodies of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of the Dharma itself being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of us, the Sangha, being unwavering, May this and all dedication prayers be fulfilled. May all the Tashi prayers for long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity be the benefit of all the longing. May all beings have happiness as the cause of happiness, be established, be removed from suffering and the cause of their suffering, be established in bliss and state of emotional stability, equanimity. Mahalo, Duchiche, thank you. And the low, ha.